Welcome to our meeting this evening, and we're going to be hearing from Ashley Stack. Is there something you'd like to
Just need to call the roll.
call the roll, please?
Councilmember Dennehy?
Here.
Councilmember Schmisher? Here. Councilmember B. Smith?
Here.
Councilmember Stein?
Here.
Councilmember Tracy?
Here.
Councilmember Worthington?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick?
Here.
Mayor Smith? Absent.
And with that, let's get started.
Ta-da. Okay, thank you. Is that okay? Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's nice to see everyone in person and at this communal table. I am very excited to be here tonight to talk to you about the Fremont County Tourism Council. I think this is my second year as chair, and that's
I think 15th or
15th.
16th year.
on the council.
Yeah.
So she quietly mentors me and nudges all of us in the right direction. Obviously, the FCTC has been around for long enough now that it's seen a lot of changes and a lot of initiatives and forward momentum. And I think the momentum in the last year has just been really exciting as we embrace some of the kind of new ideas and new opportunities that our community has to market as a tourism destination. In the few years that I've been on the board, we really have been trying our best to market this region as a recreation destination to include things like hiking, biking, mountain biking, gravel riding, things like that. And 10 years ago, most of us know that those, like the public lands existed, but the accessibility may have not. So while we said we have a beautiful river, we have this, it wasn't necessarily something that your average tourist could come and enjoy. But now we have so many incredible amenities that are available to folks that we've really been capitalizing on those at FCTC with some new changes that I can't wait to show you. So my presentation, I would like to go over just some statistics for tourism in Colorado, and then of course how those statistics relate to the World Forts region. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I know I was, especially considering the pandemic and how that affected tourism, both regionally and locally. Quick update about the FCTC in case anyone is not sure who we are or what we do. We're like the secret tourism marketing group of the county. I would say that 98% of folks in the county don't know who we are or what we do. So we're trying to change that. And then I'll update you on what we've been up to, some new initiatives that we have, and then lastly, how to participate. So if you yourself are a business owner or a nonprofit participant or just a resident, what you can do to participate in FCTC's forward progress. So tourism in Colorado, we are part of what we like to call the Pikes Peak, well, the CTO likes to call us that. We beg to differ sometimes. We are part of what they call the Pikes Peak Wonders area to include Colorado Springs Canyon, Polo and Salida. And essentially, I think why they call us that is we are what my former boss, Andy Ninus, likes to call a spoke in the wheel of tourism that is Colorado Springs. And it's because they fly into Colorado Springs, tourists from all across the country and internationally. And we have formerly, I'd like to emphasize formerly, we have formerly been known as just a day trip from Colorado Springs. You come down from Springs, you spend the day in Canyon City, and then you go back to Colorado Springs where you have lodging, and that's where your lodging tax goes. So we didn't have the demand generators, enough of the demand generators to get folks to stay down here more than one day. We just had those experience enhancers for the Pikes Peak region as a whole. So that's what we've really been trying to change in the last couple of years is get folks to come down here, stay down here, and spend some more money because we like to support our small businesses downtown and across the county. And of course, as a organization funded by lodging tax, we like to see more lodging tax. That helps.
Wouldn't that be?
Yes, so much.
So Ashley, can we talk as we're going along?
Sure.
Is this your map?
No, this is the Colorado Tourism Office. CTO kind of broke these up after a big, long survey thing.
If I was going to say something to help us down here, I would say, don't forget to put an airport out there, just east of town, Canyon City.
Yeah.
I mean, Good grief, that, because if I'm,
For private pot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely, there's no commercial pipes, but, yeah, but that might be really.
Just like the one with Aspen.
I have a question on lodging tax. Because I know there was some proposed lodging taxes a few years ago on the ballot, and it was abruptly shot down as fast as it went on the ballot. And I was under the understanding that it was some of the local recreation businesses that were against it. Am I wrong?
I think so. The lodging tax that was voted for, that we have actually, it's permanent now. It's a 2% lodging tax that's collected by the county and that administered by the free FCTC, Fremont County Tourism Council. What they tried to do a few years ago was the city actually tried to establish another district, and it would have broken it up into where the city would have been collecting a certain amount of tax, and then anything outside the city area was going to still be with the Fremont County. And there was just a lot of there was probably a lot of misdirection by people and a lot of misunderstanding by people. So, and it just wasn't a successful ballot issue.
Okay.
So it really didn't have anything to do with the lodging tax that we collect.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I was just wondering because, first of all, everybody doesn't like taxes, but
right.
I just feel like in this area, we need that so much. And there was so much pushback on it. I was just trying to wrap my brain around why, especially when you have these areas that have such a high lodging tax or
Right.
resort fee, or you know,
Right.
they're raking in the money everywhere, and we're missing out.
There was a lot of pushback. I attended 1 or 2 meetings, and one, they did not select an average citizen, which I was trying to be, because it was all people that had a vested interest and a bias towards the motel or hotel. And a lot of the small independents thought, well, people are going to look at the price of my room and this and that. Well, everybody's room. My idea is that I don't think there's anybody here that if you're going to go someplace, you may choose Holiday Inn Express over Motel 6, but that's only because of amenities. It's not necessarily, the price or something. And they just said, oh no, we're going to market, or, we're going to price ourselves out of people coming. And I thought that was just a total misinterpretation.
So Councilmember Smith, just for clarification, that was an initiative to initiate what's called a local marketing district. It was ran 2 times, 2 years in a row. The city has a couple of different options when it comes to hotel tax, so bed tax. We could implement our own tourism tax, which would take away from the county's tourism tax, or the state legislature created those local marketing districts. So that would be in addition to anything that the county had done. So,
And we're actually right now, we're in the process of they now have a new way to get more lodging tax, but that you don't have to put it on the ballot. You don't have to create a local marketing district. Fort Collins has successfully already completed it. And so Mike Bandera, Kevin Grantham, myself, and Brian from VistaWorks are actually looking at it. We probably won't do it until this next year because of the problems with the county and stuff with everything they just went through. But we are actually pursuing that option. And then that actually would be a tax on lodging and potentially even some of the bigger attractions. It would be a targeted kind of a thing, and it would be much easier to just be a matter of going around and convincing the people in that district that this would be a good thing for everybody. So we wouldn't have to take it to a general ballot. So, and then that we're looking at increasing a 5% tax then for everybody, which would take us up to the amount where we would more than double the amount that we currently have for our budget.
It's like in our downtown, we do not have like public restrooms for tourists. I mean, like somewhere that it's just public.
Well, and that's all part of so just a couple things. Lodging tax can only be used for marketing the area. Cannot be used for infrastructure or any kind of cabins or stuff like that. Not yet, right? And now they're looking at changing that law too. But the other thing, we don't have enough money for something like that, and neither does the chamber. But the idea is eventually establishing a visitor center, or even the New Method property where you'd have a public restroom downtown, because that would be a yes.
That would help businesses too, because I'm sure you get a lot of people that come there and.
My Pizza Madness restrooms are open to anybody who wants to use them anytime, and everybody around knows that, because I probably have the best available restaurants in the downtown area. So anyway, that's, yeah. So go ahead.
No, that's okay. Do really. I wanted to highlight the 2020 COVID statewide economic impact. Travel spending as a whole went down 36%, tourism employment went down 21%, and state and federal tax revenue went down 29%. We don't have 2021 numbers yet, or we didn't when I made this presentation, so they might be out. These are from Dean Runyon and Associates. That's essentially who most DMOs get their information from. However, check these numbers out. Believe it or not, in Fremont County, our travel spending went up 6%. Our tourism employment went up 5%, and state and local tax revenue went up 8%. We had a big meeting with a lot of the stakeholders, tourism-related stakeholders, last November, which was really fantastic to get everyone in the room together. And Will Colin, right out of the chute, said, look at the places where everything went up. It was river communities, oddly enough. Anywhere where a river flowed through that community, their numbers were up. Everywhere else was down. So we think it was probably a lot to do with, once again, we always owe a debt of gratitude in terms of tourism money to our rafting organizations. And I think that was probably one of the reasons why we were still so high, because people were coming for the river. So
And people just seemed to want to be, if they knew they could be outside, out on the trail, out in, anywhere, that's where they wanted to be.
which is even more of a reason for us to continue investing in our river corridor in so many ways. So in Fremont County, just as an average, our visitor spending daily on an average is $199,726. 1 in 10 jobs in our community is in tourism, and we glean about $4.8 million from visitors in taxes. And if you kind of parse that out, that's over $280 saved by each household in taxes by visitors coming. And I also probably should have put in here, one of the little known facts in our community is that we all know traffic downtown. A lot of people have a hard time with tours. Oh, they're coming and they're clogging up the street. However, every single human being that visits the Royal Gorge Bridge and Park is paying a fee to get in. And at the end of the year, the Royal Gorge Bridge and Park cuts a check to this organization, right, the City of Canyon City, and it lowers our property taxes. So just be nice to the RVers, let them go up to the bridge, enjoy their time, and recognize that they are helping us live in a community that enjoys lower property taxes than most areas. So
I would just add quickly to that when I look at Highway 50, heavy traffic there every month of the year. I think about, we don't have, and I've talked about this in city meetings before, we don't have RV parking like we need in the city, and we need to think more about adding EV chargers as the number of electric vehicles increases around the state and around the country. So yeah, I don't think we capture all that we can. So yeah, the Royal Gorge does their part for sure, but I think within the city we could do more.
I don't think fuel stations are gonna have a choice at some point. They're gonna have to add EV chargers.
That's if they have the room for a car to park for an hour or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, certainly. Over a 10-year period, these are just some of our statistics for the last decade or so. We've seen a steady increase. 2020 took a little bit of a hit in lodging tax. So, but we'll see what the 2021 numbers from anecdotal evidence. If you know anyone who owns a hotel or VRBO, I believe that they will tell you that it was a very good year. I'm hearing even upwards of 70% occupancy through the summertime, and that is just incredible. Sometimes even overwhelming for some of them. So yeah,
What's the difference between the white numbers and the black numbers on the bottom?
that's a great question. I'm not sure. Yeah, there should be an asterisk.
Probably the black are probably total.
Oh,
That's what it looks like.
yeah, travel spending versus, I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to ask them. It's our graph mastermind. We want to talk about my statistics grades in college. Literate graphics. Okay. So at that after that meeting we had that I mentioned in November, where we got all the tourism stakeholders together, we did put out a resident sentiment survey. And we were pleasantly surprised. We were sealing ourselves for the worst, but folks really did respond well to questions regarding tourism. 93% of them said that tourism is good for Fremont County. 98% said tourism is important to our economy. So people recognize that it is, even though we have to, go slowly around this RVers and folks who are from out of state. It does have a positive influence on our community. And then, of course, we asked them, what can we do better as the organization dedicated to marketing our region? What would you like to see us do more effectively? So they said that they would like us to build awareness of the value of tourism. They would like us to assist with workforce development, promoting non-peak tourism opportunities, promote local businesses and activities, enhance visitor experiences, increase shoulder and off-season visitation to the destination, and increase demand and visitation to the destination. So some of these we recognize were in our wheelhouse, and some of these we recognize might not be in our wheelhouse. FEDC and some of the related organizations are doing an amazing job of developing workforce training and assisting with those arenas. So we kind of had to take that off our plate. We can support them in many ways, but we're not going to be the leader in those efforts necessarily. But building local awareness of tourism and especially increasing off-season or shoulder season visitation was something we gleaned onto as something we absolutely could assist with. So
Maybe we can celebrate the turning of elm tree leaves here because people miss the aspen, that's only a few weeks for aspen. We could have a whole celebration here for
absolutely
when our leaves turn.
Absolutely. Probably should have put this front at the beginning. Obviously, our mission is to responsibly budget and spend the allocated lodging tax dollars collected in Fremont County to increase visitors to the area and have a positive economic impact to the entire region. So how are we doing that? So all of us on the board, we are all volunteers and we are excited to be part of this organization. Right now, our board has one vacancy, and it does include myself, Beth, Jason Messer, he and his wife own the Royal Gorge KOA, Orland Camarillo. He's our Howard representation. He owns the Barnett Howard Creek Farm, which is an event venue. Chris McLaughlin, who owns Desert Reef Hot Springs, which is getting on its feet, and I think will be one of the most incredible new amenities to this area in a long time. Yeah, with up to you. And we have recently added, I'm very, very excited to announce that Elizabeth Oberly has recently joined us. She's with WallStart, and she really is helping us get a grasp on something else we'd like to focus on, which is agritourism. It's something, again, like you feel like the bones are there, but we haven't really had the opportunity to really market that. But as cideries and wineries and farm to table and more of these local growers start marketing to the public, we feel like we really have more to market, and we're very excited to develop our marketing materials to assist in that agritourism message. And we know that Elizabeth is going to help us with that. We also include ex officio members, and those right now include Rich Miller down, it's not the Kansas City Chamber of Commerce, it's the
Fremont.
Royal Gorge
Chamber. Sorry. Noted. Commissioner Kevin Grantham joins us. Your own Councilwoman Schmischer joins us. Jim Nelson from the Fremont County Heritage. Rob Brown or a representative from FEDC joins us. And then we are looking to add an individual from Florence. I recently heard that they have some people who would like to join us for that. And then we also are welcoming anyone from the Downtown Business Alliance or a related group that we would love to see anybody join us. But really, they're open meetings. Anyone can come. They're the first Tuesday of the month at 8 o'clock in the morning. Probably should serve coffee. That might help. But at the moment, we would love to see people join in.
Actually, I'm sorry, with the vacancy, I notice you've got the KOA, but there aren't any lodgers in there. Is there a drive to have hoteliers in there?
We always ask. We always are reaching for a hoteler to come in and or somebody from upriver and out. One of the people that was attending the meeting is the guy, Adam, who has the place up on top of the hill, the hotel that Little Canyon, yeah. So, yeah, the other, we have just have never gotten any buy-in on from anybody hotelers, but, of course, a lot of us are, represent more than one area, that's for sure.
Can I just ask why you do an 8 a.m. meeting during the week?
It was supposed to be, so I mean, FEDC is 7 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And we're done by 8 because business owners then
Right,
can
right.
get in and get out. Yeah, it's hard, but it seems that most of the time we can get most everybody there.
Yeah, and everybody who's on the board is supposed to have a job in the tourism related industry. So we
Right.
feel that most of us, like, people in a rafting company usually don't have to be there. We do eliminate one meeting, at least one meeting in the summertime.
July, we
recognizing
don't-
that that's a busy time for
Right,
tourism, But through the year, we think that's usually. the
I
best.
just always look at meeting times to see, maybe I should join. No.
It's hard. And some people do have, alternative jobs, they have other jobs, but really the board is supposed to be composed of individuals who work in the tourism industry. So hopefully that's number 3. Awesome. Yeah, that's a great question. How we allocate lodging tax funds, we assist with marketing promotion to include social media, including Instagram, Facebook, you name it, we're on it. And search engine, keyword optimization, all of that kind of stuff that the kids are going to school now for that I don't even understand how it works. But VistaWorks, I know, VistaWorks takes care of it for us. We're so thankful. Colorado Tourism Office is a huge resource, but only if you pay attention to what they're looking for. So if they send out an email that says, okay, we're doing a big push for winter activities, what do you have? And none of us reply, we do not get included on those. So VistaWorks stays on top of those, make sure that we are accurately represented in any statewide marketing efforts. And of course, press opportunities. I think one of the successes, Mayor Smith does a great job of kind of pushing those out, I think, to some of you sometimes. For example, we were in Smithsonian Magazine just a few months ago, an entire article about Canyon City, and that was due 100% to the efforts of VistaWorks as they keep on top of press requests and make sure that we're in there.
AAA magazine, bunch of different
You name it.
magazines, we bring bloggers to the area who, oftentimes the bloggers are couples and we're always looking for diversity because that's something that's requested. And the reason we've lost a lot of money in this area is because of lack of diversity. So we're always pushing diversity. We're pushing representation in those areas. So we have a lot of people like, when we had one, she and her partner was a video person. So it was a really very successful, and we pay them. Then that lodging tax money goes to pay them, to provide them with hotel rooms, get them lined up with free events to go to, all the different, everybody kicks in with free stuff. And so that's part of what VistaWorks sets up for us. There are basically, we pay them to do all the stuff, and we're the board that votes on.
Yeah, when you see those
Great.
top 10 best places to visit in the West, that person did not go to all those places to decide that they were the best. It was
Right.
organizations like VistaWorks working on behalf of GMOs that say, oh, we're cool, you should come to visit our place, and then you make the magic list. So those are misleading, but great opportunities for us to market ourselves.
Well, out of circumstance, I'm now an advocate for social media. Make sure you're updating your security. So just an FYI.
Okay. Check and check.
Is VistaWorks, did they come in under are they associated with Techstars or?
No.
That's.
No, Brian came in, it was years ago, so just a brief history. The FCTC, when it was originally formed, was just volunteers, and really it wasn't very effective organization because nothing ever really got done because we didn't have anybody to do anything. And the volunteers who were all working, running businesses are not going to go out and do anything.
No.
So then Mike Bandera came up with the idea of hiring an executive director for the Chamber of Commerce, the Kansas City Chamber of Commerce. And that person would hold the position of being the executive director of the chamber and the executive director of the tourism board. And then that we could allocate more money to them, and then they could pay that person more money, and you might get a more effective thing. That worked for a couple of years. But then it stopped working. The person who was doing it left. And so that's when Brian was sort of starting his company, and he came down from Buena Vista, and we put an RFP, and he was really that we never really had anybody else come forward who wanted to do it. And so he has an office down here. He's very much involved down here. He is in the Techstars. His office is in the Techstars.
Yeah.
building.
So that's kind of the
yeah.
point.
Right. So but that's
Not directly.
but not
Not
directly associated
Sure.
with them. He didn't come down because of them. He just, used their opportunities.
Yeah.
So, yes.
But he
that's-
markets a number of other similar
Yeah.
communities, so I think it makes him very effective.
So, yeah.
And then finally, of course, we are tasked with the job of creating and updating the Royal Gorge Visitors Guide.
And well, the community events, I don't know if you guys, that you sort
Oh,
of,
yes.
that's so our bylaws specify that we have to set aside up to 5% of our budget every year. And,
There's a slide.
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And obviously we do our best to work with organizations within the community. VistaWorks obviously is our agency of record, or we spoke about that. We work with the Colorado Springs Chamber of Commerce, the CTO, and anyone else we can who we think would be an asset or can contribute to our marketing message. To include, for full disclosure, to include Fremont Adventure Recreation. Before I was on the board, I worked with Brian to help provide assets and imagery and things like that to help market our biking trails. So we work with anyone who we think can help us market this region. If you ever want to visit any of our pages, there they are. We operate the royalgorgeregion.com website. We have a Facebook page, we have Instagram, YouTube, a newsletter that goes out with all sorts of press releases and event notifications that they do a great job of staying on top of. You can check out what kind of press we've been getting by checking out that link, and all sorts of fun stuff. Our website does really well. We get over 160,000 visitors, and of those, so visitors visiting multiple pages obviously translates to nearly 500,000 page views. People spend an average time of 1 minute and 36, which I know doesn't sound a lot, but we know people's attention span. And then usually if it sends them somewhere else, so the bounce rate is 62, but it sends them somewhere else, they find what they need, that's perfect. So that's great. They go on and book tickets somewhere or find what they need. There's our beautiful visitors guide. We distribute over 60,000 copies across Colorado to include the official Colorado Welcome Centers. We are meticulous about making sure that all photography included in this guide is local and it is representative of our area. We do not use stock photography if we can help it, except for a couple stock photos of pizza, because where do you get pizza?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe some start.
We are very careful, and we actually we hire as many local photographers as we can if there's anything that we're missing or we have gaps. It is updated every year. We pay close attention to it, and this year we've added the shoulder season information, as Beth mentioned, a little bit more diversity, really trying to capture and make sure that everybody feels represented and welcomed in our community at all times.
So the Rotary Club publishes a calendar every year of photos taken by Rotary members of this area. You might touch bases with.
Char's photos are well
Char-
represented in our visitors guide, yes.
I don't have to say that.
Until they in there, but yes, we definitely. Yes, so Beth was alluding to our marketing grants. 5% of our budget is dedicated to these grants, and both nonprofits and businesses can apply. We do tend to give preference to nonprofits to help support their efforts because most of that money goes directly back into our community. And we all know that running a nonprofit doesn't mean no profit, and any assistance is very appreciated. So in 2021, we distributed over $12,000 in grants to 16 applicants. So everything from the Junk Teak to an event that I helped with, the Royal 50, to
Whitewater Festival.
Whitewater Festival, the Florence Car Show, you name it. We have.
We try to get and make sure Penrose, Florence, and Canyon City and the surrounding areas are all awarded grants.
Yes.
We make sure that we spread it out.
Yep, and it's supposed to put heads in beds is what we like to say.
Yeah.
So if
No
it's an
noses
event.
out joint.
Yes.
If it's an event that's going to get people to come and stay overnight, especially, we try to keep that in mind. Some new initiatives I'm very excited to tell you about is out of that large meeting with the tourism stakeholders, we decided we can absolutely tackle assisting businesses in marketing our off seasons or our shoulder seasons. So we have a new website and a new logo, as you might notice, and right smack in the middle of our new website, it says off season, it's on. So you'll notice on that website more imagery dedicated to changing of the colors and things like that. So, and we're accumulating more assets. We just hired our photographer to help us with that. So when the cottonwoods start turning, more photos. So we don't get a lot of snow, but we had even a couple of fat biking on there just in case it snows. So you can still come down and visit us, rent a bike, and go bike in the snow.
I've got to say, I walked that bridge.
Yeah.
I walked that bridge.
Yes.
Not the big one, the little.
Oh,
You fool.
So our new website, it's the front and center message. We're very excited about that. And it's a very interactive site. And that is actually a video, not a still image. So it's really engaging. And we're very excited to put it out. The new website also suggests itineraries. People really want to know, like, what's the insider's view? What should I do? And I will admit that as a parent, when I look to visit a place, I want to know, what am I going to do with my two little people? So my two sons, ages 8 and 10, what do you have for me to do with them? I don't want to search for it. I want to know exactly what to do with them. And our website now has itineraries that can help people with any level of adventure. So whether they want to, if they're more of the walking the river walk kind of folks, we have some itineraries for them. Or if they're the walk the scary bridge at the Little Gorge Virgin Park, we have itineraries for them too. So hopefully that helps and draws more people to this area. And of course, they are overnight itineraries. They're not come stay or come enjoy a few things and then leave. They are spend a few days and enjoy these things at your leisure. Okay, this is very exciting. Our new initiative to help promote responsible use of our outdoor recreation amenities. If we're marketing them, we need to also responsibly promote responsible practices. So we came up with this tag, well, this works did, I will give them credit. Keep it gorgeous is our tagline for our responsible recreation campaign.
Logo.
And along with a logo, we did a whole separate logo for it. We're kind of piggybacking on the success of Buena Vista's campaign. There's this Adventure by Pledge, same kind of thing, leave no trace principles. We received a grant. VistaWorks wrote a grant for us. So this did not come out of taxpayer money. We received a grant through the CTO, and they are helping us pay for the swag, some of it you have in front of you. We ordered enough to include all local businesses. So this isn't just hanging out at the Chamber of Commerce. The coasters that you have in front of you are going to businesses. So hopefully they will see this and wonder, go to the website, check out what the Keep It Gorgeous campaign is. Chapstick, we have stickers, Beth brought some
All kinds of
stickers.
stickers.
We have sunscreen,
These
and
are,
then
these will be available.
very cute. Yes. And if they take the pledge, they have to physically come into the Chamber of Commerce. So we're supporting our chamber by getting folks to come into that location, and hopefully they get to talking and spend more time. If they come in, they can take the pledge and they receive a water bottle because we're promoting responsible use of our outdoor amenities, and hopefully nobody has to pick up 1,000 water bottles on County Road 38 anymore if everyone's using Nalgene's. So we are excited to start that. We're going to start pushing those items out hopefully in the next couple of weeks here, but people have already been signing the pledge. Emmy Dennehy down at the chamber says that she has already had people come internationally and show up and want to take the pledge to get an Nalgene water bottle. So however we can spread the responsible recreation message, if giving out some free sunscreen does it work. And our next grant that we're applying for, we're very excited, right? Engaging people on multiple levels and multiple demographics in different ways is our goal. And one of the ways that you can do that is through these audio stories. It's an app on your phone. And you can look, I put a map there for some of the audio stories that you can download in Colorado right now. If you're driving through I-70, I-70 looks like there's a couple on the way, you're bored, or you're researching your destination, you can check out these audio stories with some information and hopefully want to discover more about that region. So we're not on the map right now, that's a bummer. So this is a very well-known app. VistaWorks is writing a grant for us so we can hopefully receive some money. It's free for individuals to use, but it is expensive to get on there, right? Because you have to record all these narratives. You have to pay into the program. So we think it's worthwhile because folks are interacting with places before they make their travel plans. They're interacting while they're making their travel plans. They're traveling on the fly. So any way that we can engage folks on different levels and in different ways, we want to give it a shot.
So who reads, whose voice is on the story?
It is professionally, it'll be
Okay.
professionally produced, and we're gonna Did you say, what do you mean, we're gonna target, maybe it's gold, what was the tour, Gold Belt
I think we're
tour?
gonna do Gold
Gold
Belt,
Belt
Gold
tour.
Belt byways.
Yeah. They already have a bunch of stuff.
I was gonna suggest Patrick Mulder, you guys want to
Yeah,
go.
yeah, that would be good. Yeah, I think you say you actually hire the people.
Are you working with Charlotte Baumgartner on the goal?
Always.
Yes, yeah,
Okay, because I'm now on that group, so.
yes.
I'm
Yeah,
learning.
they just supply, they got. a
We
grant.
give them money.
We give them money.
Yeah. That's with them. Right, so ways to engage if you're a business, and we're trying to do better at this. It's been a fun summer, very busy, so as a volunteer organization, we're always trying to do better. We would like to engage our community more and to encourage our businesses to purchase an out of the visitors guide, to attend monthly meetings if they can, and then hopefully to help us promote the Keep It Gorgeous responsible recreation messaging by gathering some materials and distributing those at their business. If you're part of a nonprofit, you can apply for a community event grant. We tend to get the same ones every year, but if there are new events, we're more than happy to consider them and as new events pop up. And then everyone, we suggest everyone volunteers with local events. We try to keep our calendar on the website up to date as possible. Long conversations about that, but we try to keep it as updated as possible, especially with events that tourists might like, maybe not the kind of more smaller local ones that really are geared towards community members. And we every once in a while we'll have a survey. We encourage folks to participate in those, and then obviously anyone can join in on a meeting if you want to hear what's happening. Anytime I meet a new business owner and they say, I don't think we're doing this quite right. Great, I'll see you at the next meeting. So if you have ideas, come to a meeting. We are a very hardworking board. None of us are paid. And we do our
No one
very
even
best.
ever buys us a free meal.
I don't even really get donuts or
I know.
we need Cindy. She makes those. So we work very hard, but that doesn't mean there are gaps in our knowledge. That doesn't mean there aren't gaps in how we promote things or what we're promoting. We're a diverse group, but we are always welcoming of new voices, new business owners, new ideas.
Well, that's Brandon, that going back to your question about the whole lodging tax thing, what had happened is a lot of people just, city council changes over. A lot of people don't know who does what and how anything happened. A lot of people don't know how the Whitewater Park came about and who did that, or they don't know that we produce a visitor's guide and who produced the visitor's guide, even that we have a chamber. Any chance that we can get for people to get the word out is very helpful.
That's great.
And that's all I have for you. Any questions, comments? Do you need more chapstick? Let me know.
The sunscreen's really good in its big bottle.
The backstory on the little scary bridge story
No.
is the bridge started the Via Ferrata, and they invited city council to be the inaugural group. And I always suspected that they were saying, well, we're not sure this is safe yet. Why don't we let the council?
You voted down what?
That's the reason I had a meeting that day, John.
Same with the zip line. I feel like they had just sent down the bags of sand and like 3 bags of sand. Is that going to be okay? They have
I guess just as your city council ex-officio member, I just want to thank you guys for coming and also for all of the hard work that you do for our community, both on the Fremont County Tourism Commission, but also in a myriad of roles throughout our community. You guys are kind of the epitome of what we would love everyone to do in terms of volunteering at local events.
They know what they say. If you want something done, give it to a busy person.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah.
I understand.
It's changed so much, you guys. I mean, just because of the advent of online and social media. It used to be our only decision that we made with the lodging tax money is like, well, maybe we should, we got $15,000. Let's buy an ad in an airline magazine. Seriously, on the flights going from Dallas to Denver. That was, and that was the best we could do. We had no return. We had no idea of return. There was very little. And that was also when the Colorado Tourism Office, I don't even remember, but they cut their funding back
Oh, yeah.
drastically. And then they realized how bad that was.
Right.
And so
Way back
that's,
when I was active with Action 22,
Right.
it was like we'd meet up here and stuff, and it was like, it was the hamster wheel, I'm afraid, you know, this is amazing. So I'm very
yeah, it makes,
proud
Yeah,
of you.
that-
guys.
I think there was an attitude, I think, for when CTO funding went way down. I think some people had the attitude, oh, Colorado's great, it sells itself.
we don't want people to come here.
Oh,
That-
there's
that-
that
that- that- the action,
But
yeah,
they,
yeah.
they learned,
We don't want the Olympics, we don't want
even
it.
states like West Virginia and Alabama are
Come spend money
advertising
and
and seeking tourists, so, yeah. you
And we
can't-
can't stop it now. I mean, our, actually, our growth in Fremont County is only about 4%, which is on the low side for the county, for the state. But it's not gonna stop. They're coming anyway, so we're
Right.
putting more effort into, like I said, those those shoulder seasons. Try to take some of the pressure off of some of those other visited areas, like, come to us instead, and
Really.
also just the responsible.
That's such a
tourism.
good point, because I have a place up in Summit County too, and the leaf peepers up there, just, I mean, the place has been crawling with people stopping all over the roads, looking at the aspen leaves, and, you know, they used to have shoulder seasons there years ago where there was no one that's spring and fall. Not true anymore. So, yeah, anything we can do to bleed a little of that off would be great.
Yeah, just on that note, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is there anything that the city can do to better support the efforts of FCTC?
Coffee in the morning.
Well, and I think making sure that, you know, supporting the chamber, because they're a very vital part of the whole of our activity, and they're very vital part of the Kansas City area in general. And, you know, Rich's whole idea was to bring everybody together as a county. Unfortunately, once again, there's always those people that want to have their own thing. But I wanted to tell you guys just a quick anecdotal story about, anyway, it talks about the tourism, but also about the outdoor patios downtown. So a couple weeks ago, I was there on early Sunday morning, and there's not usually very much activity, but we're open. And so we had the patio was all set up and everything. It's about 10:30 in the morning. And so I saw this 2 cars pulled up outside of Pizza Madison with about 6 guys unloaded, and they were all, you know, middle-aged kind of guys, not your usual tourists. They weren't families or anything. So they went across the street, classic, and they were looking back at Pizza Madison. Then they came walking back over, and they were all smoking cigarettes. And I went out and I said, can I help you find anything? I said, you're not from the United States. No, we are from France. So we are making a video of the area. And so they wanted to use our little patio. They wanted to set it up like 2 guys were having a conversation with coffee mugs, and they wanted to film in front of all the flowers and everything there. And so we set them up, and then I was talking to this other guy while they were doing the filming. And so I showed him our visitor's guide, and you saw the picture on the front. He goes, oh, we want a picture like this. And I said, well, I don't know if you can do that right now. But I said, here, and I gave him the trail guide, and I gave him a map, and I told him how to get to the gorge and how to go over Skyline Drive. And the guy goes, so what is this Royal Gorge? And I said, I'm thinking, so you came all the way to here to make this video, and you didn't even know about the Royal Gorge or anything.
It's not.
So
They did. They did.
They did. Did they contact you guys? Yeah. Maybe.
We actually sent them to the FCTC website. to-
Well, okay. Maybe they were just trying to get us some personal.
I don't know who they sent.
I wanted a free pizza.
The point person, we did send them a bunch of.
Okay,
them.
because I'm like, how would you even come over here if you didn't know? But then we also had another, ad was just filmed for Bank of the San Juans, and they walked along and they saw the patio with all the flowers, so they made their commercial for that too. So
That's cool.
I mean, that patios were a very, very good thing.
They are.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Make
Ashley.
people-
Great
the
presentation.
goal is get people to go take the pledge, check out the website. All right.
Yes.
Hey,
I already bring the Nalgene's with me, but if you go down there and take a look.
Yeah. Goodness.
I've got one sitting down there that, you know, my wife hasn't brought.
What's your
home.
Yeah, but
name
you
on
know
it?
someone down there.
No,
You don't know-
no, I made the pledge on, but she goes, you have to come get it.
Show you.
I drive by. there once in a while.
Tim.
Okay, any further, then we're adjourned.
Hey, how the